What's up, guys? It's Snugs. Today, let's talk about Ritual Precursor Tablets, what I think you should be using, what you maybe should not be using. And I apologize for missing it in the last video, but let's get it all covered up today. All right, first things first, let's talk about why you actually use Precursor Ritual Tablets and what's kind of the whole point of them? Well, the first point, obviously, is to get rituals on your maps, right? So you can run ritual in the first place. That part is pretty obvious. But the first kind of step to this is that the majority of these tablets, what they actually do is save you tribute in different ways, whether it's re-rolling pages, deferring items, or granting you more tribute. It's kind of like adding tribute and saving tribute. So it's a give and take when it comes to that. We'll talk about kind of some combinations a little bit later down the line, but the main thing is to get rituals on your maps. I prefer to use 9+. You don't have to. Sometimes if I get a really good one, I'll keep it. Like I'll use it if it's like a 7, but it's like omens or something like that, right? We'll talk a little bit more about the omen tablets down the road. I've done some testing in the past on that. I have an opinion there, but we'll wait to get there. Let's just go ahead and jump into tablets. But the main thing is to get them on your maps and then help buff and decrease the amount of tribute that you're spending and increase the amount that you're earning. That's the first thing, right? Anyway, let's jump into which tablets do what. So I have something that I like to call the trifecta. This is if you are using 4 altar method, right? So what I have found has been really successful for me is that I will run, my normal stuff, my normal altars, until I find a really GG item, like an audience, purple omen, and then I will swap out of this into Promise Devotion. That way it shows up faster in the window. It shows up earlier, so you spend less points to actually re-roll your pages, right? It shows up earlier, so you're spending less points to keep deferring that item. And then once the item is done, or it's close to being done, I'll switch to 4 altars. What I like doing for this is using a combination of 3 tablets. I like Monster Sacrificed, grant more tribute, re-rolling favors, cost reduced tribute, and deferring rituals cost reduced tribute. Now, if you are leaning heavier into this, if you decide you like Promise Devotion, you're going to run Promise Devotion more of the time, you would use less of the deferred reduced cost because you're already getting 50% for this node, right? So it would make more sense to roll into the first 2 here, re-rolling favors and Monster Sacrifice grant tribute. So that is the trifecta that I like to use. You don't have to use that, but to me, it makes a ton of sense, and I've been really successful with that strategy. The next one I want to talk about, I have an entire couple videos on this tablet, basically. I'm not a huge fan of this omen. The current price on this for like a 9+, I'm actually going to check real quick. At the time of this recording, they're about 300 exalts, a little over a divine. I personally found that these aren't really worth running, to be honest. The issue is, if you stack a ton of omen chance, you're not having as many nodes to help with deferring and re-rolling and things like that, so it is harder to actually afford those purple omens if you come across one in the first place. I did 100 runs, did not find a single purple omen, and that was with nodes all the way up to plus 50 omen chance, above 50 omen chance on several of them. And I did not find a single purple omen. Now, that's a small sample size, but for me personally, I don't think that the price of this Precursor tablet makes sense to me. Other people may have a different opinion on that, but through my testing, I'm not a fan of this tablet. I would put this kind of in B tier personally, but I like the trifecta here. This one's next down. This one, honestly, for me, is kind of a trash tablet. I am not a fan of the favors deferred at ritual altars, and your maps appear sooner. If you're going to do this, I would just take this node. Honestly, I don't think this tablet makes much sense. I would put this in C or D tier. And then these, I hardly even notice a difference, honestly. The revived monsters and ritual altars can have a chance to be rare or magic. I don't think they're great. I would put these in C or D tier as well, but they're just not great. I much prefer these 3. If I come across an omen tablet, I'll go ahead and use it. I probably won't sell it. I'll just throw it in a tower nearby. But I personally, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of this tablet. Other people may disagree with that opinion, though. Let's talk about sustaining tablets, because this is one of the most frequent questions that I get. There are a few ways to help, but unfortunately, Ritual is one of those, is pretty much the mechanic in the game. It is really hard to sustain not only tablets, you can probably sustain tablets, But to sustain good tablets is the problem. Yes, you can 3-2-1 bad ones, but you are quite literally deleting 2 at a time if you put 3 in. I'm not a fan of doing that unless it's like a 7, a 6, 5 that doesn't roll well. I'll go ahead and re-roll those, but it is very hard to sustain your tablets. There are a couple things that we can help to do that. One, quantity on your towers. So if you have a precursor that has quantity on your prefix, that can help. That significantly helps. Nice, we got 18% rarity. Another thing that we can do is we can use Distilled Disgust on your Delirium. So if you put your map in and you put 3 Disgusts in, it's 30% chance to get increased Precursor Tablets found in area. This goes for Ritual Tablets as well. The issue that I find with this is I actually don't notice that many more Ritual Tablets when I use these. And by doing this, you are taking away from using my favorite, which also affects dropping more Precursor Tablets, which is Distilled Guilt. What Distilled Guilt does is it adds... where the hell did it go? Oh, yeah, there it is. It adds pack size. So not only are you increasing the potential tribute that you're getting on the Ritual Altar, you are also increasing the Precursor Tablet chance because there are more monsters to kill on top of the altar. Now, one thing that I have noticed, and if I'm wrong, please correct me in the comments here, but what I have noticed is that the only time that you can drop a Ritual Precursor Tablet is the initial pack that is sitting on top of the Ritual Altar, not when you start the Ritual Altar and the monsters at the end can drop a Ritual Tablet. They may be able to, but it is incredibly rare if they do. Another thing that you can do to help sustain tablets is, let's say you only need to run 3 Ritual Altars because you've looked at your pages, you didn't get anything good, so you're going to move on to the next map. Well, what you can do is actually still find that 4th altar and kill the monsters on that 4th altar in hopes that it will drop another Precursor Tablet. That's something that I try to do. I'm not going to search. If I have a huge chunk of map left and I'm ready to leave the map, I'm not going to do it, but that is one thing that you can do to help sustain your tablets a little bit better. But unfortunately, the point to this is there's not really a great way to sustain Ritual Tablets perfectly. It's just unfortunate, and it's something that I hope that the developers of the game, GGG, look at, because us Ritual no-lifers, unfortunately, don't have a great solution besides trading for them. Solo found this is a pretty difficult strategy to make. Precursor Tablets can range from like 80 Exalts all the way up to 6 Divines. It depends on what you're getting, but we'll talk about some of the more expensive ones. These typically are going to be around that 150 to 200 Exalt mark for 9 pluses. 8s, maybe you get closer to that 180, 170 range. These all, like the suffixes here, the sacrifice to rituals and the rerolling and all that, they typically tend to be in the same Exalt range. They're all around for 9 plus in that 200-ish range. You can get lower, but it depends. If you have an area that you've already got most of your nodes filled in, you don't have to buy 9s or 10s because you're just looking for a buff. You don't need to fill out more nodes. So in that case, you can go with a 5 or a 6 that has a really good prefix suffix and spend a lot less currency to get there. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is the 5 or 6 divine extra reroll tablet. I don't have one on me right now. I do use them if I roll one or drop one. I personally don't like using them, and here's why. That tablet is going to be very hot and cold. In theory, this should allow you to find items 25% faster because you're seeing an extra page per ritual. The problem is if you stick one of those tablets in an area and you get absolutely nothing for it, you are essentially almost minusing an audience, meaning it's going to feel very unworth it if you don't get anything good from that 6 divine tablet. 8 plus is going to be about 6 divines at the current moment of the recording of this video, and then lower you can get kind of 5. But regardless, extra reroll is 5 to 6 divines. I personally don't use them. That is up to you whether you want to use them. Really a big sample size is the way to know if that 6 divine tablet is worth it. But for me, I personally do not use it. I just wanted to make this quick note real quick. The Precursor tablet, that is like 2 to 3% chance of not costing any tribute to reroll a page. I'd say that's probably arguably the worst tablet out there. I would literally chuck those up on the trade site and hope to get some exalts out of them because statistically it has very little value. So I just wanted to make that note real quick. Don't use the ones that allow potentially a free reroll. Anyway, guys, I hope this helped. I just kind of wanted to throw this together real quick for the people who are wondering about Precursor tablet stuff. If you have any more questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. I'm pretty good about getting back to people, especially in the first couple days of a video being posted, on answering questions or comments or concerns or anything like that. But if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and a subscribe if you made it to this point. But I hope you guys have a fantastic day and stay healthy, my friends. Bye.